Bem-vindo ao Deep Dumps. No Deep Dumps, nossa missão é ajudá-lo a passar nos exames de certificação com confiança. Acesse os exames de prática mais recentes, PDFs e testes online, sempre atualizados conforme os padrões reais. Com nosso material pronto para o exame, você terá os recursos certos sempre à mão. Milhares de alunos confiam no Deep Dumps, e muitos conquistam a aprovação já na primeira tentativa. Oferecemos suporte 24 de julho por e-mail ou chat ao vivo. E nossos especialistas estão prontos para esclarecer dúvidas e orientá-lo passo a passo. Baixe as perguntas e respostas em PDF. Pratique com questões de qualidade e explicações claras. E avance rumo ao sucesso garantido.
Question 1. A company has decided to scale its e-commerce application from its corporate data center to a commercial cloud provider to meet an anticipated increase in demand during an upcoming holiday. The majority of the application load takes place on the application server under normal conditions. For this reason, the company decides to deploy additional application servers into a commercial cloud provider using the on-premises orchestration engine that installs and configures common software and network configurations. The remote computing environment is connected to the on-premises data center via a site-to-site IPsec tunnel. The external DNS provider has been configured to use weighted round-robin routing to load balance connections from the internet. During testing, the company discovers that only 20% of connections completed successfully. Instructions review the network architecture and supporting documents and fulfill these requirements. Part 1. Analyze the configuration of the following components: DNS, Firewall 1, Firewall 2, Router 1, Router 2, VPN and Orchestrator Server. Identify the problematic device. Part 2. Identify the correct options to provide adequate configuration for hybrid cloud architecture. If any time you would like to bring back the initial state of the simulation, please click the Reset All button. Part 1. Part 2. Only select a maximum of 2 options from the multiple choice question. Choose 2. Option A. Update the PSK pre-shared key in router 2. Option B. Update the A record on the DNS from 2 to 1 1 1 1. Option C. Promote deny all to allow all in Firewall 1 and Firewall 2. Option D. Change the address space on router 2. Option E. Change internal IP address of router 1. Option F. Reverse the wait property in the 2 CNAME records on the DNS. Option G. Add the application server at on-premises to the load balancer. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Update the PSK pre-shared key in router 2. Option G. Add the application server at on-premises to the load balancer. Question 2. An organization suffered a critical failure of its primary data center and made the decision to switch to the Doctor site. After 1 week of using the Doctor site, the primary data center is now ready to resume operations. Which of the following is the most efficient way to bring the block storage in the primary data center up to date with the Doctor site? Option A. Set up replication. Option B. Copy the data across both sites. Option C. Restore incremental backups. Option D. Restore full backups. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Set up replication. Question 3. A cloud administrator is building a new VM for machine learning training. The developer requesting the VM has stated that the machine will need a full GPU dedicated to it. Which of the following configuration options would best meet this requirement? Option A. Virtual GPU. Option B. External GPU. Option C. Pass-through GPU. Option D. Shared GPU. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. Pass-through GPU. Question 4. Which of the following service models would be used for a database in the cloud? Option A. Passe. Option B. IaaS. Option C. CaaS. Option D. SaaS. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option D. SaaS. Question 5. A VDI administrator has received reports from the drafting department that rendering is slower than normal. Which of the following should the administrator check first to optimize the performance of the VDI? Infrastructure. Option A. GPU. Option B. CPU. Option C. Storage. Option D. Memory. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. GPU. Question 6. A Chief Information Security Officer, CISO, is evaluating the company's security management program. The CISO needs to locate all the assets with identified deviations and mitigation measures. Which of the following would help the CISO with these requirements? Option A. ANSLA document. Option B. A doctor plan. Option C. SOC procedures. Option D. A risk register. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option D. A risk register. Question 7. A cloud engineer is responsible for managing a public cloud environment. There is currently one virtual network that is used to host the servers in the cloud environment. The environment is rapidly growing, and the network does not have any more available IP addresses. Which of the following should the engineer do to accommodate additional servers in this environment? Option A. Create a VPC and peer the networks. Option B. Implement dynamic routing. Option C. Enable DHCP on the networks. Option D. Obtain a new IPAM subscription. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Create a VPC and peer the networks. Question 8. A system administrator is migrating a bare metal server to the cloud. Which of the following types of migration should the systems administrator perform to accomplish this? Task. Option A. V2 volts. Option B. V2P. Option C. P2P. Option D. P2 volts. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option D. P2V. Question 9. A company is utilizing a private cloud solution that is hosted within its data center. The company wants to launch a new business application, which requires the resources below. The current private cloud has 30 vCPUs and 512 GB RAM available. The company is looking for a quick solution to launch this application, with expected maximum sessions to be close to 24,000 at launch and an average of approximately 5,000 sessions. Which of the following solutions would help the company accommodate the new workload in the shortest amount of time and with the maximum financial benefits? Option A. Configure auto-scaling within the private cloud. Option B. Set up cloud bursting for the additional resources. Option C. Migrate all workloads to a public cloud provider. Option D. Add more capacity to the private cloud. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Set up cloud bursting for the additional resources. Question 10. A cloud administrator is reviewing the authentication and authorization mechanism implemented within the cloud environment. Upon review, the administrator discovers the sales group is part of the finance group, and the sales team members can access the financial application. Single sign-on is also implemented, which makes access much easier. Which of the following access control rules should be changed? Option A. Discretionary based. Option B. Attribute based. Option C. Mandatory based. Option D. Role based. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Role based. Question 11. A company developed a product using a cloud provider's Passe platform and many of the platform-based components within the application environment. Which of the following would the company most likely be concerned about when utilizing a multi-cloud strategy or migrating to another cloud provider? Option A. Licensing. Option B. Authentication providers. Option C. Service level agreement. Option D. Vendor lock-in. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Vendor lock-in. Question 12. A systems administrator is trying to establish an RDP session from a desktop to a server in a cloud. However, the connection appears to be refused even though the VM is responding to ICMP echo requests. Which of the following should the administrator check first? Option A. The firewall. Option B. The subnet. Option C. The gateway. Option D. The services. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. The firewall. Question 13. Which of the following would be the best option for discussion of what individuals should do in an incident response or disaster recovery scenario? Option A. A business continuity plan. Option B. Incident response, disaster recovery documentation. Option C. A tabletop exercise. Option D. A root cause analysis. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. A tabletop exercise. Question 14. A systems administrator has migrated an internal application to a public cloud. The new web server is running under a TLS connection and has the same TLS certificate as the internal application that is deployed. However, the IT department reports that only internal users who are using new versions of the OS are able to load the application home page. Which of the following is the most likely cause of the issue? Option A. The local firewall from older OS is not allowing outbound connections. Option B. The local firewall from older OS is not allowing inbound connections. Option C. The cloud web server is using a self-signed certificate that is not supported by older browser. Option D. The cloud web server is using strong ciphers that are not supported by older browser. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. The cloud web server is using strong ciphers that are not supported by older browser. Question 15. A systems administrator is configuring RAID for a new server. This server will host files for users and replicate to an identical server. While redundancy is necessary, the most important need is to maximize storage. Which of the following RAID types should the administrator choose? Option A. 5. Option B. 6. Option C. 10. Option D. 50. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. 5. Question 16. A cloud architect is designing the VPCs for a new hybrid cloud deployment. The business requires the following. High availability horizontal auto-scaling 60 nodes peak capacity per region 5 reserved network IP addresses per subnet, 24 range. Which of the following would best meet the above requirements? Option A. Create 25 subnets in different regions. Option B. Create 25 subnets in different regions. Option C. Create 26 subnets in different regions. Option D. Create 26 subnets in different regions. Option E. Create 27 subnets in different regions. Option F. Create 27 subnets in different regions. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Create 25 subnets in different regions. Question 17. A company recently experienced a power outage that lasted 30 minutes. During this time, a whole rack of servers was inaccessible, even though the servers did not lose power. Which of the following should be investigated first? Option A. Server power. Option B. Rack power. Option C. Switch power. Option D. SAN power. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Rack power. Question 18. A cloud provider wants to make sure consumers are utilizing its IaaS platform but prevent them from installing a hypervisor on a server. Which of the following will help the cloud provider secure the environment and limit consumers' activity? Option A. Patch management. Option B. Hardening. Option C. Scaling. Option D. Log and event monitoring. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Hardening. Question 19. A resource pool in a cloud tenant has 90 GB of memory and 120 cores. The cloud administrator needs to maintain a 30% buffer for resources for optimal performance of a hypervisor. Which of the following would allow for the maximum number of 2 core machines with equal memory? Option A. 30 VMs. 3 GB of memory. Option B. 40 VMs. 5 GB of memory. Option C. 45 VMs. 2 GB of memory. Option D. 60 VMs. 1 GB of memory. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. 40 VMs, 5 GB of memory. Question 20. A company that utilizes an IaaS service provider has contracted with a vendor to perform a penetration test on its environment. The vendor is able to exploit the virtualization layer and obtain access to other instances within the cloud provider's environment that do not belong to the company. Which of the following best describes this attack? Option A. VM escape. Option B. Directory traversal. Option C. Buffer overflow. Option D. Heap spraying. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. VM escape. Question 21. A systems administrator is troubleshooting network throughput issues following a deployment. The network is currently being overwhelmed by the amount of traffic between the database and the web servers in the environment. Which of the following should the administrator do to resolve this issue? Option A. Set up affinity rules to keep web and database servers on the same hypervisor. Option B. Enable jumbo frames on the gateway. Option C. Move the web and database servers onto the same VXLAN. Option D. Move the servers onto thick provisioned storage. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Set up affinity rules to keep web and database servers on the same hypervisor. Question 22. An update is being deployed to a web application, and a systems administrator notices the Cloud SQL database has stopped running. The VM is responding to pings, and there were not any configuration changes scheduled for the VM. Which of the following should the administrator check next? Option A. Logs on the VM. Option B. Firewall on the VM. Option C. Memory on the VM. Option D. vGPU performance on the VM. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, logs on the VM. Question 23. A company is concerned about the security of its data repository that contains customer P. A systems administrator is asked to deploy a security control that will prevent the exfiltration of such data. Which of the following should the systems administrator implement? Option A. DLP. Option B. WAF. Option C. FIM. Option D. ADC. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, DLP. Question 24. An engineer is responsible for configuring a new firewall solution that will be deployed in a new public cloud environment. All traffic must pass through the firewall. The SLA for the firewall is 999%. Which of the following should be deployed? Option A. 2 load balancers behind a single firewall. Option B. Firewalls in a blue-green configuration. Option C. 2 firewalls in a HA configuration. Option D. A web application firewall. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, 2 firewalls in a HA configuration. Question 25. After a hardware upgrade on a private cloud system, the systems administrator notices a considerable drop in network performance. Which of the following is most likely the cause? Option A. The driver. Option B. The memory. Option C. The cluster placement. Option D. The CPU. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. The driver. Question 26. A systems administrator is trying to reduce storage consumption. Which of the following file types would benefit the most from compression? Option A. System files. Option B. User backups. Option C. Relational database. Option D. Mail database. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, user backups. Question 27. A technician just received the lessons learned from some recent data that was lost due to an on-premises file server crash. The action point is to change the backup strategy to minimize manual intervention. Which of the following is the best approach for the technician to implement? Option A. Backup as a service. Option B. RAID 1. Option C. Long-term storage. Option D. New backup devices. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, backup as a service. Question 28. A marketing team is using a SaaS-based service to send emails to large groups of potential customers. The internally managed CRM system is configured to generate a list of target customers automatically on a weekly basis, and then use that list to send emails to each customer as part of a marketing campaign. Last week, the first email campaign sent emails successfully to 3,000 potential customers. This week, the email campaign attempted to send out 50,000 emails, but only 10,000 were sent. Which of the following is the most likely reason for not sending all the emails? Option A. API request limit. Option B. Incorrect billing account. Option C. Misconfigured auto-scaling. Option D. Bandwidth limitation. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, API request limit. Question 29. A developer is no longer able to access a public cloud API deployment, which was working 10 minutes prior. Which of the following is most likely the cause? Option A. API provider rate limiting. Option B. Invalid API token. Option C. Depleted network bandwidth. Option D. Invalid API request. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, invalid API token. Question 30. A support engineer wants to prevent users from running malware on several IaaS compute instances. Which of the following will best achieve this objective? Option A. Encrypt all applications that users should not access. Option B. Set the execute file system permissions on the desired applications only. Option C. Implement an application whitelisting policy. Option D. Disable file sharing on the instance. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, implement an application whitelisting policy. Question 31. A cloud administrator is reviewing the annual contracts for all hosted solutions. Upon review of the contract for the hosted mail solution, the administrator notes the monthly subscription rate has increased every year. The provider has been in place for 10 years, and there is a large amount of data being hosted. Which of the following is a barrier to switching providers? Option A. Service level agreement. Option B. Vendor lock-in. Option C. Memorandum of understanding. Option D. Encrypted data. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, vendor lock-in. Question 32. A systems administrator is creating a VM and wants to ensure disk space is not allocated to the VM until it is needed. Which of the following techniques should the administrator use to ensure this? Option A. Deduplication. Option B. Thin provisioning. Option C. Software-defined storage. Option D. ISCSI storage. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, thin provisioning. Question 33. After accidentally uploading a password for an ING user in plain text, which of the following should a cloud administrator do first? Choose 2. Option A. Identify the resources that are accessible to the affected ING user. Option B. Remove the published plain text password. Option C. Notify users that a data breach has occurred. Option D. Change the affected ING user's password. Option E. Delete the affected ING user. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Remove the published plain text password. Option D. Change the affected ING user's password. Question 34. A cloud administrator has deployed a new VM. The VM cannot access the internet or the VMs on any other subnet. The administrator runs a network command and sees the following output. The new VM can access another VM at 172.16.31.39. The administrator has verified the IP address is correct. Which of the following is the most likely cause of the connectivity issue? Option A. A missing static route. Option B. A duplicate IP on the network. Option C. Firewall issues. Option D. The wrong gateway. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, the wrong gateway. Question 35. A company is switching from one cloud provider to another and needs to complete the migration as quickly as possible. Which of the following is the most important consideration to ensure a seamless migration? Option A, the cost of the environment. Option B, the I/O of the storage. Option C, feature compatibility. Option D, network utilization. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, feature compatibility. Question 36. A systems administrator disabled TLS 1, 0 and 1, as well as RC4, 3 DES, and AES 128 ciphers for TLS 1, 2, on a web server. A client now reports being unable to access the web server, but the administrator verifies that the server is online. The web service is running, and other users can reach the server as well. Which of the following should the administrator recommend the user to do first? Option A, disable antivirus, anti-malware software. Option B, turn off the software firewall. Option C, establish a VPN tunnel between the computer and the web server. Option D, update the web browser to the latest version. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, update the web browser to the latest version. Question 37. A cloud administrator has finished setting up an application that will use RDP to connect. During testing, users experience a connection timeout error. Which of the following will most likely solve the issue? Option A, checking user passwords. Option B, configuring CORS rules. Option C, enforcing TLS authentication. Option D, opening TCP port 3389. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, opening TCP port 3389. Question 38. A company just successfully completed a doctor test and is ready to shut down its doctor site and resume normal operations. Which of the following actions should the cloud administrator take first? Option A, initiate a failover. Option B, restore backups. Option C, configure the network. Option D, perform a failback. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, perform a failback. Question 39. An IaaS application has a 2-hour RTO and 4-hour RPO. The application takes 1 hour to back up its data or restore from a local backup file. A systems administrator is tasked with configuring the backup policy. Which of the following should the administrator configure to achieve the application requirements with the least cost? Option A, backup to long-term storage every night. Option B, backup to object storage every 3 hours. Option C, backup to long-term storage every 4 hours. Option D, backup to object storage every hour. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, backup to object storage every 3 hours. Question 40. A systems administrator is troubleshooting performance issues with a Windows VDI environment. Users have reported that VDI performance has been slow since the images were upgraded from Windows 7 to Windows 10. This VDI environment is used to run simple tasks, such as Microsoft Office. The administrator investigates the virtual machines and finds the following settings. 4 vCPU, 16 GB RAM, 10G flat networking, 256 MB frame buffer. Which of the following most likely needs to be upgraded? Option A, RAM. Option B, vCPU. Option C, vGPU. Option D, vNIC. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, vGPU.